This is the Lockpicking Newbie, and today is package day. This is actually a package I got quite some time ago. I don't know, there's no date on here. It was back in March. Or actually, I don't know. I have no idea. Anywho, one of the channels to which I subscribe did a really cool video. Well, let's just open the package and I'll show you why I got this. Hey, I didn't have to use a knife. Ha! Okay, what do we have in here? Dun dun dun. Stanley 24/7. Security rating 4. Okay. This is from the famous Stanley 24/7 series. Lockpicking Lawyer a few years ago did a video opening this, and it's got some really cool features. I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it was not excessively expensive. It's a 50mm lock, laminated. It's got this keyway cover and so on and so forth. I believe it's a 6-pinner, and yeah. Okay, so we're gonna try to pick this from package, and we'll see how it goes. My advice to you, dear viewer, is settle in. All right, so in LPL's video, he says it's a Schlage keyway, and sure enough, it looks kind of like a Schlage keyway. So I'm just going to leave it in the package here. Let's see, can I use the short arm of this guy? I think I can. I don't think that arm is going to snag anywhere. Get this out of the way. And tell you what, before we officially start picking, let me see if I can how to get at these pins. It's got this little slanted piece of warding right here, which is probably going to flip the pick off. But let me just see what I can feel. I can feel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6. That's what I expected. All right, and I am going to use the longer arm because the shorter arm is not all the way in there. So let me try to get you guys a good focus. All right, and let's get to picking. Okay, 1 is loose, 2 is loose, little click on 3. I'll leave it there. Kind of some dragginess on 4. I didn't like that, so back to 1, 2, I'll get that click back on 3. That actually moved the core a little bit. 4, I'm just going to leave alone. All right, well, I'll tell you, the 4 and backs felt weird and grindy, so I didn't like that. I'm at 3, now 4 feels loose, 5 feels loose, and 6 feels loose. I might have overset something. Let me just feel all the pins. Okay, 1 is springy, 2 is binding, but it didn't give a real good click. It just kind of got a little looser there. Okay, 3, got a little click, and now it's bound up hard. That weird grindiness from 4, 5 is springy, 6 is springy. Huh. Back to the beginning, 1 is springy, 2 is down in the keyway and bound up hard. 3 feels almost like it's overset because it's kind of down and loose. 4 is springy, 5 is springy. All right, I'm gonna ease and see if you can hear a back click. Yeah, I got one there, 2. All right, 1 is springy. 2 is binding hard. I'm leave it. 3, a little bitty click out of 3. Not much on 4. Not much on 5. Not much on 6. I think I have overset some stuff here, so I just dropped a couple more pins and we'll kind of start some more. 1 seems like it's pretty far down in the Bible. Okay, 2, or actually I think that's 3 or, All right, good luck, Stanley. I assume it functions. Cool packaging. There's a little Phillips screw holding the little shackle, holding the shackle onto this little assembly. All right, 3 had a little click and some movement in the core. 4's binding. I think I overset it. Wow. This is a good lock. I like this lock. 1 springy. 2. I don't know. The 2 was just sort of draggy, and then it stopped being draggy. 3 is bound up kind of hard. 4 sort of got a click on 4. Nothing much on 5. Nothing much on 6. Okay. Spinner's funny. It's got like these little ramps on it. It's got like little ramps on it, so when you jam your key into it, it'll spin it around for you. The Schlick keyways are kind of tough for me anyway, because I would rather go, you know, kind of like off of this little shelf here, but there's not enough room, so I go off of this. This particular lock is not too bad on that. I noticed in LPO's video, he had his hand out of the way. He had like everything facing the camera and his hands were out of the way, and you could see exactly what he was doing. Okay, 1, 2. See, but me, my hand gets in the way. 3, nice click on 3. See, we can at least get a click. It's like that ASA 700. I can declare victory from getting a false set. Okay, so I just came back to like 2 and got a click there. Maybe that's a binding order thing. 2 now feels, I think I just overset 2. All right, so what have we learned? I think we learned to go to 3, then 2. So there's 1, 2, 3, little click on 3, some core movement. Little click on 2, now leave it alone. Let's go back and see what we can get on 4. 4 feels like it's binding, but didn't feel like it wanted to click now. So I just put it back. 5 is loose, 6 is loose. Okay, I think I got 2 and 3. Ugh. 4 is definitely binding back there. All right, let's do this again. 1. Where are we at? Why aren't we focused? Just learning, you know, just learning. Okay, 1, 2. Get my click on 3. That was sort of like a double click, and then it wants to kind of bind hard, so I'll go get those clicks in the core movement. Now come back to 2, try to get the similar feel. See, I think I just went too far on 2 just then. I'm gonna like lighten up all the tension, try not to bully it. There, I just barely touched 2 and got a little click, tiny bit of movement. So let's just move on. Back at 4, I think 4's done. Back at 5. 5's binding now. Little click back there. Or maybe that was 6. I don't know. Because I think I might have told you guys before. I have trouble counting. Alright, so 1 is loose. Got that tiny little click on 2. 3 feels like it's set. Tiny little click on 4. A little pin movement on 5 and some movement in the core. See if we can get 1 to bind up. I think that's 1. It's whatever it is, it's bound up. Okay, I think that's 1 and it's bound up. 2 is bound up. 3 is bound up. 4 is bound up. 5. Oh, okay, so I think I'm not on 1. This happened to me kind of a lot. I'll get everything set and then I can't find 1. Definitely making progress here because I feel like I've got a bunch of pins set, or at least partially set. I'm using the number 1 in 25 thousandths and the 50 thousandths pry bar. Just feeling these pins to see if I can get any counter out of them. I think I'm back. That was bad. I was back on 5 and I was trying to get fancy with it and I think I overset it. So I put it back. What's this? Is that 6 back there? Making progress. I wish I could remember who did the video before. I searched for it. I searched for Stanley 24/7, Stanley picked, and so on, and I couldn't find it. I did find the LPL video on it, and he made pretty much a direct open. Well, not 100% direct. I think he went back and forth in the lock maybe twice. All right, I just started again. 1 is loose, 2 is loose. Little click and some core movement on 3. Back to 2. And I didn't get the click I wanted. We'll start over again here. Okay, 1's loose, 2's loose. Got that little click and core movement on 3. Okay, barely got that little click on 2, and I'm gonna leave it alone. 4 is loose, that's bad. 5's loose. 6 is loose. Oof. Yeah, I mean, you can feel the pin moving like that, but it's an overset. Okay. Click on 3. And like nothing good's happening over back up here on 2. Maybe that's good. We'll click on. We're getting some clicks now. Maybe I needed to go deeper on 2 or 3 back there. In the LPL video, he gutted it, and there's some spools. They're different kind of spools. They're not like American spools, or rather serrated. Kind of wider, shallower cuts in the pins. Not as fine as on an American or a master serrated. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now 4 is binding, so let's get 4 before 2. How about that? 5, 6. I'm on 2. Okay, 1 springy, 2 is deep, 3 is bound up. It's just hard to tell where 4 is supposed to be. 5 is loose, 6 is loose. Boy. So a few minutes ago when I had like everything bound up, that was a good moment, but not good enough. Let's see, what could I do to improve my chances? What if I try, I mean, the tension wrench itself is fine. So that is not causing my issue. But maybe I'm just not reaching the pins well enough. So this number 1 profile is so awesome. That point there allows me to feel where the pins are so easy. Okay, so 1, 2 springy. Okay, I got to click on 3 and some movement in the core. I need to just be a little more subtle on back when I come back to 2. Okay, so I think 2 and 3 are where I usually like to have them. Well, I guess not, because everything's springy. Nope. I always say that I like to pick from the package when I can, because it's well, it's definitely more challenging, I'm telling you that much. But it's also, I kind of feel like I'm cheating a little bit if I rehearse. There's a difference between preparation and rehearsal. So like some locks that are really hard, got it. I got to do a lot of work with that individual lock to try to figure it out. That's just the way it is. But if I can, I like to be able to just kind of address a lock for the first time and see how I do on it. Of course, that takes a lot of patience from my viewers, so thank you for that. All right, I don't know what I just did. I think I got a little deeper on 2 and got some binding on 1. Not sure that's the right approach. 1 is kind of down in there, just a tiny bit of springiness. 2. Maybe I should be going about this whole thing with a lot less tension. Yeah, so the lock, in a way it kind of reminds me about how an Avis picks. Because once you overset the 1 pin, boom, everything gets loose. So, all right, I'm going to cheat a little bit because I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, you can't. But I can read these numbers, 3, 8, 5, 8, 7, 3. Yeah. I don't know if that's the actual bidding or what, but whatever. All right. Okay, 1 springy, 2 springy. I'm going to ease my tension back and just go for a really subtle click. Subtle click on 3. I got that subtle click on 3, then went back to 2 and I didn't feel anything. Okay, now I maybe got a little click on 2. But 3 now feels springy. 4 springy, 5 springy, 6 springy. Gosh. Well, guys, I kind of think this is going to be a bust. Because I don't necessarily want to make you guys sit there for all this time. Well, I just sort of fumble and babble and all that. I don't know. It does not exactly how I want the channel to be. I mean, I don't mind showing my struggles, obviously. But this is sort of beating my head against the wall. Not in a frustrating way, but it's just more like, hey, I'm gonna have to learn something about this lock before I can get into it. I've had a number of locks like this where I quote, I feel like I should be able to get into, and then when I go to try, it's like, oh, well, this is hard. Somewhat of a underestimating the lock, overestimating myself, maybe not being, okay, I just got a little bit of a deeper click on one, maybe that'll help. 3, 4, 5. And then I just got a little bitty click on 6, like a tiny bit of movement. Might be getting somewhere here, who knows? Because 1 is down here behind the wrench, and I can't really find it right now. So some of these pins, when I push them, they're almost trying to give me a little bit of counter, which is, at least in LPL's video, there weren't any normal spools, like I would think of. He called them serrated pins, but it was more like, it was just sort of like between a serrated and a spool. The cut was sort of squared off. Not as deep as a spool would be and not as wide as a spool would be, but kind of like that similar shape. And then compared to a spool, it was a wider than, the cut itself was wider than what you'd see on a serrated pin rather. And maybe about as deep, but wider, more squared off. Ooh. I've basically got all the pins bound up now, and I feel like there's probably just one guy who's not quite, I mean, I guess it's possible I've got, so LPL, when he gutted it, he saw countermilling in all of the chambers on the core, and it was countermilling right up at the top, not the undercut like you see in some locks. So that was different. I think I've got something overset now, because now I'm getting into the loosey-goosey pins everywhere. And then I just dropped something. So 2 just kind of dragged through kind of a long way, which on some locks is a good sign, but all right, so I'm back to where I just set 3 like I've been doing and set 2 like I've been doing now. 4 is way up in the keyway. Click on 5. 6 is springy. Wish I could find 1. I should have set up my my little endoscope camera so I could look for 1. Because it is nowhere to be found, boys and girls. Whew. It almost makes me want to take the key out and just kind of fool with it. Let's see. I wonder how I was even supposed to get the key out. It's a plastic covered bow. Look at that key. I mean, the bitting is not terrible. Whew, nice springy sound. Well, you know what? There was another video where a person posted, they only had one. Ooh, look at that. There's a tiny bit of shrouding right there. Person only posted one picking video, and I think it's she, Rachel, said, basically expressed some frustration because she had it open, but the spring tension was high enough she didn't think it was open. That is a lot of tension. Okay. I'm all like, hey, this is a great lock, now let me in. Let's see. Just checking some battery state here. All right. Whoa, where's the focus, dude? I'm just trying to get you guys some focus here. I don't know what's going on. There we go. All right, well, we're not in the package anymore. A little bit more comfortable angle. 1, 2. Click on 3 with some movement in the core. Okay, that click on 2. It was a click on 2, but it totally felt like an overset. So let me just try that again. I think it's got to be a little more subtle here. Okay, there's my click on 3. Okay, there's my click on 2. Very kind of light, kind of not too big there. All right, 4 I just kind of pushed into a place. 5 is sort of springy, so 6. I don't think I got it. I don't have it where it needs to be. Feeling 1. I gotta hold it at this angle. Yeah, it's funny because sometimes 1 seems to just sort of like disappear. It's weird. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, miscounted as usual. Pins are further apart than a normal padlock. Okay, 1, 2, 6. Okay. 1 is loose, 2 is loose. Little click with some core movement on 3. 4 is binding. Little click on 4. 5 is loose. 6 is loose. Back to the beginning. 1 is loose. Wow. I think I'm pretty sure I just overset 2. Let me take it back. 1 is loose. 2, let's leave alone. 3 is set. 4 is loose. 5 is loose. 6. Okay, guys. One, 2, 3. Back to 2. I think 2's set. I'm not going to touch 2 again. 4. I think needs to go a little bit more. Alright, I think 4 is probably where it needs to be. 5. 6 are loose. Okay, I just gotta click on something. I hope that was 1. Maybe I can't reach far enough on 6 back there. So it should be, oh, but it's all springy. Well, guys, this reminds me of the Abus 83 that Down Under Monkey sent me. Should be a challenging lock, and I'm finding it to be an impossible lock. Not impossible. It's just I haven't ever gotten into it. And this is starting to remind me of that, where I can do some things, but it's just not going well. All right. Yeah, it's like I get stuff wrong and then I gotta just kind of start over. And then look what happens when I just push the key and see how the spinner is kind of in the way. That little ramp there just kind of helps it. Helps spin the spinner to the correct orientation. That's clever. And then there's a ball bearing right here. Should try something different, but I'm not sure what. Got a little click on 2, or 3 rather. I think I already bumped 2 into place. Little mushy movement on 4. Boy, I don't know what's going on. The tension wrench is in the way of something. I got a big click on 1. That's a good sign. Just almost overset 2 again. And nothing is binding. That was weird. Oh, you know, maybe the wrench is in the way of the pin. No, because the pin was springy. I think that just that placement of the wrench just then was bad. And you know, I can only do this for so long. I mean, not super athletic here. I've been missing all my lockpicking workouts lately. Not because of the plague, just because of being lazy. Although maybe the plague makes you lazy. I'm kidding, I don't have a lockpicking workout. Okay, well, I'm not really sure what pin that was, but that felt pretty decent. Okay, I think I just overset 5, so let me get that back. And then let me see if I can get anything on 6. Nope, not yet. I just eased tension to try to drop an overset. Six feels like it wants to bind up, but it's not quite ready. Somebody back there felt like maybe a spool. On American locks, when you overset, you can even be oversetting into like the serrations that they have on them, on the key pins, but it feels totally different. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like these oversets here I can feel. All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna start from the back. With a number 7. Okay, 6 is springy, 5 is springy, 4. Basically, it's doing the same thing because all of those were springy. So now so I got a tiny little click on 3. That's 1. Nothing on 2. Okay, got a little bit more on 3 and a little bit of movement in the core. So let's go back to the back. 6 springy, 5 springy, 4 springy, 3, I don't really know where it is. 2's firm. 1 is springy. Let's see if I can get a click on 2. Yeah, but it felt like an overset. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, guys. On one of my recent videos, I said, oh, I could do this for an hour. And we're pushing 40 minutes right now. And I can't do this for an hour, I don't think, because my hand, this is sort of an awkward angle. And I'm going to start losing my grip here. Get it? Maybe losing my grip on reality. I am cheating by looking at the key, by the way. Full disclosure. But it's not helping. Well, it helps a little bit because it tells me that 2 doesn't really need to be pushed very far. So I just did that. But 1 does need to be pushed pretty far. And for whatever reason, I can't find pin 1. Maybe I ought to do... Alright, let's do this. I'm going to do 1 first. Even though it's springy, let's see if I can get it set out of it. Nope. So I got my customary click on 3. Oh, but look, 1's binding now. So now I got a good click on 1, probably bumped 2 into place. So let's go to 4. That probably doesn't need to be set too far, according to my research. Ha ha ha. Got a little set out of 5. And now, you know, trying not to get frustrated, but I'm basically in the position I've been in where all the pins feel set and the lock is not open. So I'm gonna, ooh. Ha 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 ha! Oh, you guys. That will probably be the longest pick on my channel. I don't know. All right, guys. I'm going to do this. I may or may not keep all of this, but you got it. So what did I do? I picked 3, then 1, and then tiny little click on 2, cheating, because I knew that based on looking at the key, it didn't need much. Then got the clicks off of the other pins, 5, 4, and 5, and then got to click on 6, and basically was in the I'm stuck position, and then did one more click on 7. You're not gonna be able to see in there right now, and I don't have a light handy, but there's a tiny little Allen screw in there. I hope after all of this I can get this Allen. Just fumbling, bumbling, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Oh darn. Okay, so 1/16 is too small, 5/64 is too big. So let's see if 1.5 millimeters will do it. You know, some of these cameras have like face tracking. I sort of wish they had lock tracking for focus. All right, 1.5 millimeters was too small. Oh, no. 2 millimeters is too big. All right, this guy feels just a tiny bit smaller than 2 millimeters. You know what I'm gonna have to try is a Torx. All right, you guys will have to excuse me while I go get some Torx bolts. I can only hope that my video keeps running throughout all this. Oh, that's too fat. Whoa, I got a ball bearing out though. Didn't want to do that. So I can't tell if that's too big or too small. Probably too small. And guys, I'm not going to drill this because there's a fastener in there and it's perfectly good. Oh, that felt like it must be too small. I think it might be working. You guys. What a day. Okay. All right, let's see. I gotta get some of these tools out of here. And I hope I don't mix up the metric and the English. Let's see, this guy was this guy. Okay. This guy was this guy. I'm trying to remove the tools I didn't actually accomplish anything with. All right, so we've got the security nut off. We've got the what does it take to get this out here? You know, it's one thing after another with this lock. There we go. All right, there's the cover, and LPL talked about a ball bearing in there, and there it is. Here's the spinner, really awesome. Oh, there's another ball bearing in here. I assume that's drill protection, and it goes along with this ball bearing here. That's cool. Real beefy steel lock body, and looks like there's an anti-bypass wafer in there. And look, it's a kick cylinder. Here's the ball bearing. I think this little star washer was on that screw down there. And yeah, all right. So it's a kind of a Schlage style, and then a little actuator in here. Yeah, I don't know, guys. It is going to take some commitment to watch this whole thing. I am right now at 47 minutes on the video. All right, so there's that. Maybe one of these little holes is for key retaining and one is for not. I don't know. It was not key retaining, by the way. So there's the little Schlage pin. All right, and now we can gut. Guys, I just have to laugh. All right, let's get these out of the way. I just have to laugh. This is so fun. Okay, what am I gonna do? I need a follower. Let's see. That looks pretty close. LPL did not use a shim, so I'm not gonna use a shim. But I would like some tweezers. Here they are. Okay, got Mr. Follower. It's fitting inside of there. A little bit of scratchiness, but all right. So here we are, back in business, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, there's your key pins, and they all look pretty standard. Nice beefy key pins. They're like house key, or house lock type size, not padlock type size. And then here's the core, and sure enough, here's these little counter mills in here. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that. Okay. I'm going to do this. All right. This is going to be a challenge, but let's just stick with me and we'll see if we can make it happen. All right. Okay, pin 1 is a quote spool, LPL called that a spool. Or he called that a serrated, I guess. Pin 2 is standard, same as in the lock LPL gutted. Pin 3, he called that modified standard, so it's got like little it's like a little barrel. There's spring 4. Here's driver 4. Okay, so unfortunately I didn't take the springs out. Get the focus back where it belongs. All right, so I'm at 4, or I'm coming up on 5 now. That's another standard. And then 6 is another serrated. Okay, so let's put 6 where it goes. Well, guys, I'm not sure how I'm going to handle that pick. I won't necessarily call it buffoonery, but it was maybe a little more challenging than what I would inflict upon you. I'm just looking in here to see if I can spot any shenanigans in the Bible, and I don't see anything. Obviously the core has those shenanigans in it, which I hope you'll be able to see. And here are your pins. So we have a all standard key pins. Oh my gosh, spring. All standard key pins. They're big. LPO magnet checked his, and they were non-magnetic, so they're probably like nickel plated brass. And I'm just going to show, I'm going to try to show these. Well, first of all, let me just describe them or name them. 2 serrations here, standard. This is the modified standard, standard, and then the 2 serrations. All right, so first of all, I'm going to show this serrated pin. Oh, come on, Betty. All right. So this pin, LPL labeled it serrated, and I don't disagree. I mean, but you can see the quote serrations. There's just 2 of them, and they're wider than what I would normally think of as a serration on a serrated pin. Okay, so that's that. And then, interesting pin I haven't really seen before. Kind of looks like a barrel pin. But they've got these little cuts in the ends of the pin. So I don't know what you'd call that. Let's see if it actually goes in the core. Oh. Okay, boys and girls, look. This is like one of those anti-bump pins from Master, actually. I don't want to be disparaging, but so it goes into the counter milling, but it doesn't go all the way down into the chamber. All right, well, that might be why pin 3 felt so weird. All right, I will show, like I usually do, I will show the pins as I'm trying to pick. And let me tell you guys, this is awesome. I mean, this is, of course, it took up like my whole morning, but what a fun lock to pick. The Stanley Security 24/7. The model is S830-810 or CD8824. Let's check the bidding. It says 385873. So 38. So maybe it's 385873. 385873. Yeah, that's it. So the bidding is the key number is the bidding, if that makes sense. I'm trying to show this to you guys. So 385873. Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, thank you for sticking with me. My little work area here is a nice big mess because of all the chaos. Fun pick. When I get this thing back together again, I'm going to pick it 100 more times, and by that time I'll probably be an old man. Older. Again, thanks for participating in the channel. I hope everyone stays safe and healthy. That is all I have for you today. This is the Lockpicking Newbie. Have a good day.